Alright, June. So today we're going to talk about the essay that you wrote about where the wild things are. Do you remember when you wrote this essay? Yes? Okay. So I read your essay and I thought that you did a phenomenal job when you added great details. So your opinion was, I think the book Where the Wild Things Are is the best book. Alright? And you told me that was your best book because you said it was funny. And you even gave me an example of when the story was funny. And you also gave another example as to when you thought it was funny as well. So you gave two examples. So you gave a lot of details, right? And you were able at the end to give me your reason as to why you think this Where the Wild Things Are was the best book. So you did a really great job as a writer, right? And you use a lot of details. But today we're going to talk about making those details even clearer. You know what that means? No? Okay. So let's look at the story Where the Wild Things Are. And we're going to quickly read it. And you're going to tell me what part of the story is the best part that makes it funny. Okay? So, the night Max wore his wolf suit and made mischief of one kind and another, his mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, "I'll eat you up." So he was sent to bed without eating anything. So I want to make sure that once you find the part that's really funny, you let me know, okay? That very night in Max's room, a forest grew.
That was funny.
Which was funny?
The forest grew.
This is funny? Why is this part funny?
Because he wasn't looking, and then the forest grew.
So it was funny because in the story, I don't know where a forest grew in his room.
He didn't know that a forest grew in his room.
Okay, so let's go ahead and write that down. So in the middle, we have the word that says funny. And we have the word funny in the middle because that's why we think this is the best book, because it's funny, right? So good writers do their very best to make sure that their details are clear. And that's what we're working on today. So let's go ahead and write right here. This is your funny. This is the most funniest part. So a forest grew, and that was what made it funny. Keep going. You're doing a great job. Great. Okay. So now we're going to go back to the essay, the piece that you wrote, and we're going to read it together. Ready, set, go. I think the best book Where the Wild Things Are is the
best book.
Okay. And here you wrote, it is funny because the end of the book.
They say they wanted to eat him up.
Okay. And then give us another example. It says, it is a trick that they don't eat him up. And read the last part right here.
It is funny that his room turns into a forest.
So you actually stopped right now and you thought that that was a really good, funny idea, right? So today when we write our story, we want to make sure, we're going to write it again, we're going to make sure that we add these important details of the story that makes it very funny, okay? Because when you tell me it's funny, I don't know why it's funny. I want you to tell me what exactly in the book made it funny. So we're going to start writing, and we're going to start with your opinion. Right here, grab your pencil. You're going to write with I think, that's what you have right here. I think the book. It's right here.
The book.
Why is it the best book?
I think it's the best book because they say they're gonna eat them up, but they wouldn't.
So we're going. So we want to make sure that we say and we state that I think it's the best. I think the book Where the Wild Things Are is the best book because it's really. What's another word for funny? What's another word for funny? Ha ha ha. That was so. Starts with an H. You ever heard of the word hilarious? Is that a big word? We want to use that word? Okay.
I think we have used it before.
We have. I wanted to make sure we remembered. Okay, so we're going to make sure we write. I think the book Where the Wild Things Are, make sure you say why. It's the best book. Why? It's what?
Hilarious. I don't know how to spell her name.
Try your best. Okay, good. Now, we just made our opinion very clear. It says, I think the best book Where the Wild Things Are is the best book because it is hilarious. So we're going to look at the story right here. And this story is going to show you how good writers make sure that they have really good details as to explain why their opinion is really good. So your opinion is that it's really funny. We want to make sure that we have really good, clear reasons as to why it's funny. So let's look at this. It says here, sun bears are also known as honey bears because they love to eat honey. Sun bears have black fur, but they have light fur on their faces and chests. They live in nests and trees. Some bears don't have any fur on the bottom of their feet. This helps them climb trees. Look at this right here. It says this helps them climb trees. It tells us, the writer tells us how. It tells us sun bears have long, sharp claws. So you wrote that it's funny. Now you have to tell us why it's funny, okay? And you made a really clear reason by saying that it's funny because at the end, they say they're going to eat him up and they don't eat him up, right? But what happens before that?
They were like laughing and playing, and Max made one of them a king of the wild things.
So is there a lot of funny parts of the story?
No, not really.
I think it has to be a lot of funny parts because you said it's funny. So that means there's parts in the story that make it funny. So one of the funny parts that you said was, right here in the story, it says, his mother called him Wild Thing, and Max said, I'll eat you up. So he was sent to bed without eating anything. That very night in Max's room, a forest grew. So that makes me smile. That means this is one of your funniest parts. So when you're writing an essay, you have to write why this is so funny. Okay? So go ahead and write. in the story, what happens about in Max's room? It is funny because why?
It's funny because he said I'll eat you up. Wait, he didn't.
Go ahead.